So EA recently announced that there won't be any more updates for UFC 5, and that includes alter egos, which means the Jon Jones 214 alter ego that I've been asking for forever won't happen now. Okay, now to be fair though, Jon Jones has a lot of alter egos in UFC 5, 6 alter egos to be exact. But again, I'm greedy. I still want that UFC 214 one, man. In my opinion, that was his best look, you know? And since EA won't do it now, I guess I'll just have to do it myself. That was cringe. I know, that was cringe. Now, the first thing I did was gather my references, and after that, I used the headshot plugin in Character Creator 5 to generate a base model. I know this base model right here does not really look like Jon Jones, but right now what I care most about is just getting some of the landmarks correct, like his eye position, the nose, the mouth. And then when I'm actually done with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to use these sliders, this headshot sliders. Now what these sliders actually does is, you can see right there, you can morph the way the face looks, like different sections of the face, the eye, the nose, and all that. And I'm going to use that to get as close as I can to Jon's likeness. And then I'm going to complete the sculpting process in Blender. I'm going to take the character, load the character into Blender, and I'm going to actually go in there and sculpt some of the details to have it look more like Jon Jones. So the goal is to take this base model that you guys are looking at right here, and when I am done, eventually have this model looking like this right here. In Blender, I spent a few hours refining the overall shape of the face, making sure to pay a lot of attention to the eyes, because it's just one of those things that if you butcher, your character will never look like the person you want them to look like. I sculpted his nose, his mouth, added some clay to the cheekbones, under the eyes, and other parts of the face, and I even made sure to sculpt his cauliflower ear. And after hours of sculpting and refining, I had a face sculpt that looked close enough to the version of Jon Jones that I was going for. There's something still off about the face though. Oh, that's right. He needs eyebrows and facial hair. So I sent the model back to Character Creator 5, found the right eyebrows and the right goatee, and voila, we have a face that looks like Jon Jones. Now you would probably think, oh, the hard part is done, right? No, you would be absolutely wrong, because like at this point, I still had no idea how I was going to design those specific shorts he had on at UFC 214, which also happens to be Jon's favorite style of shorts. You know, the ones that are like split on the sides? Yeah, I had no idea how to even begin to design those. Not only did I not know how to design them, I also had no idea how I was going to make them move. But stick around, because you'll see how I was able to figure it out. Now, before I started working on the shorts, I spent some time inside Character Creator 5 using the body morph sliders to approximate Jon's body type. And yes, I exaggerated some of his features like his chest and his abs to kind of reflect that he had picograms in his system for this fight. Now, lucky for me, Jon doesn't have a lot of tattoos, so it wasn't as complicated designing his tattoos like it was when I recreated Max Holloway's character model. Which, by the way, you can follow me on Instagram at MartialMindArt to kind of see some of the art that I create that I don't really show on YouTube. But after morphing his body and placing his tattoos in the right spot, I had a character model that really did resemble UFC 214 Jon Jones. And now it was time for his clothes. Now, in the past, what I would do is just assign like a generic MMA style clothing to the character, but considering the fact that I was trying to create that very specific Jon Jones from UFC 214, that wasn't gonna fly, right? I needed authentic UFC gloves. I needed the tape underneath the gloves that UFC fighters wear, including the UFC logo, all of it. I even needed the tape that Jon Jones typically has on his toes after that injury he had against Chael Sonnen. And most importantly, like this was the most important piece of clothing that it wouldn't have worked without it. I needed the shorts, those very specific split shorts on the sides that Jon Jones wore at UFC 214. Luckily for me, I was able to find a 3D model of authentic UFC gloves online, which I purchased, and using iClone 8, I was able to use the pose tool to adjust the position of the hands and fingers to fit the gloves accurately. Now, it's not enough to just fit the gloves to the hand, because the glove itself is still like a rigid mesh that doesn't move. Like, you see this pair of glove I have right here that you can kind of bend it? That's not the way the glove is at the moment. It's pretty much rigid, right? Imagine something like this right here that's like super rigid, or say like my phone that like you can't bend it. That's the way the glove was. So I still needed to do something so that when I move my character's hand, the glove moves with the hand, as opposed to like staying still this way, that when I move the hand, the glove doesn't move. To solve this, you have to do something called a skin weight transfer, which essentially takes the deformation data from the source mesh, in this case, which is the hands, and applies that to the glove so that wherever you move the hand, the glove follows. So we have the gloves moving properly. Wherever I move the hands, the glove moves with it as well. But I still needed the tape underneath the hands. And honestly, man, rather than like trying to find hand wraps or tape that I can wrap around my character, or maybe model it in myself, I just decided to do a shortcut and just fake it. I downloaded the arm textures, loaded them into Procreate, and then painted the hand wraps directly onto the hands. I also added the UFC logo all over it to make it look more believable, and voila! The hand wraps and UFC gloves are done. Next up is the part that really challenged me, man. I'm telling you guys, you have no idea how much of a challenge this was to me. And that, of course, is the shorts. And Jon Jones has always loved those shorts split on the sides. He's worn them his whole career, and that is exactly what he had on at UFC 214. And I had to find a way to do that. So how did I solve this problem? Well, at first, I tried to find a 3D model of that specific type of short online that I could purchase, and I couldn't find a single one, not even an ugly one. And that's when I had an idea. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to buy these pair of shorts. I know right now it looks nothing like the shorts Jon Jones wore for UFC 214, but I think I'm going to get this, and I think I'm just going to split it down the middle right here, down the sides right here. It already has this like minor small gap right here. I think I'm just gonna figure out a way to split this down the sides after I get it. The textures will not be a problem. I can easily just remove these textures and replace them with the same textures that Jon Jones wore. That would not be a problem. I still got to figure out how to actually make it move after I split it, but I think this is the best solution for me right now until I finally learn how to actually model clothing in Marvelous Designer. For now, I think we're going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this, and then we're going to have to figure out how to split it. Whew, man, this is complicated, dude. This shit's complex, but you know what, man? It's fun, though. It's fun. We're figuring some shit out. Let's do it. Let's do it. I watched a couple of Blender tutorials on how to properly split a mesh, and that was really all I needed. I loaded the shorts into Blender, went into edit mode, and pretty easily split the mesh down the sides, and I also made sure to create that upside down V shape at the top. I then imported my Jones character plus the shorts into a software called Meta Tailor, which basically simplifies the process of fitting your clothing to your character. And when I was satisfied with how everything was looking, I exported it all back into Character Creator 5 again. Now at this point, the short was essentially completely blank. I had the shape right, I had the split on the side, but it had no texture. So I loaded up the textures into Procreate, and I started like slapping on logos, designing all the different colors, the UFC logo, the Monster Energy logo, the Reebok logo, added Jon's name to the side of it. And after about an hour or so of work, this was the final result of the shorts. As you can see, man, even though it's not an exact one-to-one replica, anyone that is familiar with Jon Jones, especially that UFC 214 Jon Jones, should easily recognize these 5 shorts. That said though, there's still one glaring issue with it. There's no cloth physics. It's stiff as a board. And for a pair of shorts like that split on the sides, nah, we can't have that. It would be one thing if it was like those tight shorts, but nah, this one with the splits on the side, we got to figure out a way to make it work. We have to figure out a way to get cloth physics. So how did I do it? The first thing I had to do was paint the weight map. Now, imagine you have a piece of cloth that you have to stick to a person's body. A weight map is a set of instructions telling the computer where to apply glue and where to let the fabric hang loose. The blackest sections of a weight map is where the heaviest glue is, so that part does not move at all, and the whitest part of the map is where there is no glue at all. That part is free to move. I loaded the shorts back into Blender, switched over to texture paint, and right there I painted directly on the shorts, generating my weight map. As you can see, the top around the waistline is completely black, and the rest of the fabric is like a gradient between gray and white. The gray sections will move a little bit, the white sections will move a lot. I saved the weight map as a PNG image and then imported that image back into Character Creator 5 and assigned it to the weight map section. I clicked play and damn near pissed myself laughing. Like, look at this, bro. I know what the problem is. I know what the issue is. Right away, I know what the problem is. But that is... gave that man a freaking skirt. It's moving well, though. I mean, it's moving. But all right, so the issue is... Let me pull up this... Let's go pull up this... Oh, man, that is just horrible. All right, so... this weight map right here. All right, so this is the weight map that is currently applied to this shorts right here. And as you can see... the top section right here is, I mean, that all the way at the top is completely black, which is why the top section is not moving at all. And as you start to get a little bit lower, you see this gray right here? It allows it to move a little bit, but then the rest of it is completely white, which is why it turned it into like a skirt. And that's not the way it should look. The bottom section right here, like in between his legs, should be grayed, because that section should move, but only move a little bit, because that section is like, it's sewn together, right? It's not a skirt that hasn't been sewn together. So around his leg, like in between his thighs, that section should move only a little bit. So I'm gonna go back in, I'm gonna paint just this bottom section. I'm gonna add a little bit of gray to it, and when I'm done doing that, this should be right. All right, so let's go do that. That's funny. That is so funny. So I went back in, painted the weight map correctly this time, and boys, we finally got proper cloth physics. Now, I'm sorry, okay, I'm sorry. I know this might look like something super small to you. It's not that exciting. Who cares? You were able to get a pair of shorts to move. Ugh. But let me tell you, man, you have no idea how hard it is to do this properly. And look, I'm proud of myself, okay? I really am, because just as I was starting this project, I had no idea how to do any of this. Like, zero clue how I was gonna make it work. And in just a few days, I was able to figure it out. Little old me, little old 33-year-old, not good at computers, figuring this stuff out. It's something that look, I'm proud of it, okay? I just am. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, here is UFC 214 Jon Jones fully done. I hope you guys enjoyed that, man. That was really, really fun and also challenging for me to do. But I love solving problems like this. Like, I've just realized that I really, really enjoy going into a project, not knowing how I'm going to do something, and then just figuring it out on the fly. To me, That's incredible. It brings me joy as an artist. So if you enjoy this, go right ahead and leave a like on the video, and also let me know in the comment section what type of alter ego you would like to see me try to create. Challenge me. You know, I really enjoyed a challenge. So like actually challenge me, and I'll see if I can deliver for you boys. So thanks again for watching. You guys are amazing. I'll see you boys later. Peace out. Have a good one.